Welcome back to my channel. So today is a little day in life video, a full day of training, but also today I have a hospital checkup to install a 24-hour Holter monitor, just to, I think, tick off the final few things for the NHS to be sure that as an athlete, my heart is 100% normal, which I'm not averse to making sure everything's fine. Definitely given the fact that in a few weeks, I'm hopefully gonna be back racing. So today I've just kicked off with an easy hour run, as you've just seen on the trails. Super easy, relaxed, and yeah, just nice. I don't usually do that early, but because of going to hospital, I needed to, and also I don't think with the Holter on I could run. No, I can ride, I guess I put it in my pocket, but running, thought would be a bit admin. So yeah, that's all. And then home to a quite large breakfast. I have 100 grams of carbs on the fueling app, so we've got oats, Greek yogurt, jam, peanut butter and raspberries, and then a coffee. As one of my questions, how many cups of coffee you've ever had? The most? I'm gonna say 6, which is just not safe. Don't recommend. My average is like 2 to 3 though. So yeah, throughout the video I'll be answering your questions that you put on my Instagram. Thank you so much. And I hope to give you an all-rounded, hopefully insightful day. So let's go. So we are on the way to University Hospital Coventry for my appointment, where, as I said, they're going to fit me with this 24-hour ECG. Got my loose-fitting clothes on, easy to apply. Ironically, only people to have asked me to take my top off in the last few months have been doctors and nurses, but it's not that type of chat. So I thought, anyway, moving on swiftly, on the way I thought I'd answer a few of your questions which related to still the heart, and then cover off, and the rest we just crack on. So one of your questions was, are you allowed to do whatever training you like at the moment? Essentially, yes. I've been completely cleared. I got cleared I got cleared, as I said, middle of March to start easy back in training, and then cleared for all intensities middle of April, but we actually didn't add that much intensity to about the beginning of May, just to be sure, and also just from the training point of view. But I have been doing intensities. My heart rate's been getting up to like high 170s, totally fine. Obviously not all the time, but in key sessions, and yeah, it feels okay. And another question I got this quite a few times actually is, are you scared of pushing yourself? Are you scared what will happen? And it's a weird one. No, not really. I was to start, not scared I'd say, but I definitely had a mental handbrake on in case something happened. But I wasn't necessarily scared, I just didn't know if it was right. I think that's the main way. I was like, is it right to do this? I think now, totally fine. Yeah, I don't have any reservations as such. I do randomly, like any, I guess, injury, like if I feel something in my chest, it does give me a bit of an anxiety. And I've had a few sessions where I'm like, oh my God, and then I'm like, no, Eloise, stop overreacting. It's fine, that's just like normal breathing. And that's the only thing I would say. But again, I've had a lot of tests, and I think all the confidence in putting the confidence in the professionals and the doctors really has helped. But yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not scared, but it's at the back of my mind, obviously. I really want this to be over, so I really hope it is over. And if you hear any weird noises, that is my car. It's going to the garage today. And yeah, so that's where we're at. And then one of the last questions, which I had a few times as well, is, are you racing this year, and if so, what? I am racing this year, as long as these last few tests go well. As I said, they're just trying to check if, I mentioned in my last video, my heart's enlarged, which is normal for an endurance athlete, but also given my history of the last 6 months and the weird ECGs that I've had of an inverted T-wave, they need to 100% check that it is just because I have athlete's heart versus it's not cardiomyopathy, I want to call it. I always get this wrong, and that's pretty much just you have heart problems, which is chronic. So hopefully it's not that, but hey, I've been fine. There's no suggestions not. They're really happy that I keep training, and this is just going to be a routine appointment, 24-hour monitor, and go from there. So I do intend to race. One last question related to my time off at heart is, did I gain any weight, and how do I feel about it? Quite a good question. I actually lost weight the first few weeks, especially when I was in hospital. I think the lack of delicious food, I think contributed to it, and also just stress in the body. But then I didn't really gain or put on weight for a few weeks. And actually I put on a bit of weight when I started training again, because I actually was so hungry that I ate so much starting to train. Now I'm exactly the same way as I was when I got off the initial up. So I'm about 1 or 2 kilograms heavier than I was in December. So that's sort of end of race season / bit of an off season. I am a bit heavier. It hasn't changed with all the training I've done, but I think what I was most conscious about was the fact that I know I look different. Like, I know I was softer when I started training. Yes, my boobs were bigger and my butt was bigger, but does that matter? No. But I knew that the main goal is to actually get back to consistent training. Like, losing a kilogram ain't going to affect my fitness at this point. I need to do some training. And it's the same now. Like I said, I'm the same weight. And yes, okay, I sort of get upstairs thinking, I'm like, I'll go down, but that doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't. I just want to be able to get fitter, get stronger. I'm training really, really well. I feel good. I feel strong. My power's as good as it was last year. Better than this time last year. Running feels really good. Swimming's okay. Like, I don't need to lose any weight right now. Or I think it'll adjust through the season as it needs to. And also, if I was conscious and wanted to lose weight, I just don't think that's right in terms of why put an extra stress on my body in not very long ago when my body was under severe stress from a legitimate health concern. I don't really want to stress it. And yes, okay, maybe ideally down the line we need to lose a kilogram or 2, but that's for when I'm like properly fit racing, not now. But yeah, I feel good about it, but I was conscious at the start I look different and I'm not as lean as I was, but hey, I'm pretty sure that'll sort itself out with just training and eating, so we'll go from there. But a good question, and yeah, it helps that I'm definitely totally recovered from where I was mentally about body image and food. But yeah, so things are good. So, as I'm getting ready, I thought I'd better show you this little nifty device that's coming around for the day. Next 24 hours. Me and it are gonna have a great time. As you see, it's connected in 3 spaces. Again, it's just live recording of my heart, so it's an ECG. And they said to do your normal activities and don't compensate because you're wearing it. So we're gonna do some normal activities. I'm off for a 3-hour ride, mainly aerobic, but if I feel good, I will push the hills. And I may do a bit of a session because I'm a bit pissed off about my session yesterday, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, put some in my little back pocket and we'll go from there. Yeah, let's get ready. Right, so I just got back from my ride. There's not much footage because it was exceedingly cold, and I usually would make the smoothie when I get in and then go have a shower, but as I was so cold on my ride, yes, in June, I'm actually going to make the smoothie now. Actually, one of my questions was, what's your recovery smoothie like? So I literally just did some protein in here with some of these raspberries, actually now, frozen, gone through the blueberries, these are the best. And then some almond milk to loosen it up with, yeah, whey protein. And then this is quite low carb, so I'll also actually have we're going to have a hot cross bun as well. And then I'm going to have like actual lunch. But I'm going to eat this now before I get too cold, and also make sure that I have something soon. This is a bit harder than it was supposed to be the ride because I pushed the first hour, but all good. And yeah, always good to recover. So that's the end of the day. I'm now eating my delicious / slightly bad looking pesto pasta because I actually am quite behind on my carbs for today. So I'm actually going to catch up with this big pot of pasta and then I'll definitely get a snack before bed. But I also thought I'd take this time to answer those last few questions that you had on Instagram. So we'll cover those off. Starting with for scones, because we're going to lighten the mood a bit. Cream first or jam? obviously cream, because it's like butter, isn't it? So the next one is, how do you manage your mental strength recovery as you start ramping up training? I hope I interpret this correctly. How I see that is, I guess, getting used to pushing yourself and, yeah, being solid, if that makes sense, mentally, which also we all know takes practice. However, I think I personally, with the amount of training that we do and like how I approach this, I try and now just not judge it and do. And because I'm quite busy with all my work as well, it's easy to just do. When the days which are really, really tough, those are completion days, as long as you're not ill or injured. And I've done the same with this as well. As long as I'm feeling fine, as long as there's nothing going on, then the days when I don't feel good, I've just done. And I think that helps with the mental, I guess, building that mental strength back up. But hey, I've done a lot of, I think every injury come back, or every illness come back, or whatever you want to call it, or every race that I've sucked, you build a lot of mental strength. I don't feel like I need that much more training to get it. I've sort of had my fair share of mental strength training, but it's good to be, I guess, yeah, you've got to be consistent. You've got to also trust the process and get back into it. And I think just by doing your training and being disciplined and yeah, just getting it done, you get that mental strength sort of built in anyway. And those hard days where you just suck, but you get it done anyway, as long as you're healthy and fit, it doesn't matter, that helps. Last few, this is about getting your period back. When you started eating more, did the extra calories go to getting your period back or putting on weight? Personally, it was a bit of both. I put on about 4 kilograms before I got my period back. I think it was about 4, and I sort of went over the benchmark of where I needed to be able for my body to regulate its hormones. Yeah, I think it's very personal, but a lot of part of getting your period back is making sure your body is not under stress, and that's usually increasing your body fat percentage. And often with that, and the quickest way to do that is by gaining weight. Obviously, it's a short-term fix/solution that can then help you get your period back, then get healthy, and then get back into training to let your body readjust to everything. And that's very much what happened to me. So I think it's a bit of both. And also it's that, like with any weight gain or when you're scared to, or any stop in training or whatever, it's very short term. Like at the time, I know it feels massive, but 6 months down the line, when you've got your period back and you're training full time again, like it's trivial. It really is. I think this year's taught me that even more than others. And then the last question, I hope I haven't missed anyone out, but it's the last one, is can you gain weight during Ironman training? Yes, you definitely can, but you have to eat enough. I suggest trying things, something like the Fueling app. Like, hey, out of all transparency, I work for them. I don't get commission if people sign up, so don't worry, but I do use it and I do really believe in the product. That would really help for the, I guess, the external professional side of it, like getting an input. I'm always for that when you're trying to fix not a problem, but you're trying to do something. But also you can just by just eating more and like making sure you eat a lot all the time. You're not in a calorie deficit, always in a surplus. Taking extra snacks with you training. Often it's easier to eat when you're training if you're doing a lot of training, like Ironman training, and just eat. It is possible. So yeah, get on it. And don't be afraid to stuff your face. Anyway, thank you so much for joining this video. Very, very weird video, I think. But yeah, I'll take this off tomorrow, sending it back to hospital. Well, I think I have to drive back to hospital tomorrow. And I guess I'll fill you in with all the results in another video. I'm sure it'll be fine if I don't hear anything. I think no news is good news in this case. And yeah, thank you for joining for the ride. And then, yeah, you know what to do. If you like what you see, big thumbs up. If any questions or comments about this, please put it in the comments below and I'll answer it, of course. And if you want to see more, because obviously I'm being so consistent now, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss another episode. The episode of sagas. Anyway, thanks for joining and catch you next time.